SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It seems like we're constantly hearing different fitness advice. Exercise 2 to 3 times a week for at least 30 minutes a day. And don't forget cardio. But don't exercise too much or you'll get hurt. So, how much exercise should you be getting? Well, actually not that much, since the human body is only built to withstand walking a short distance before lying or sitting down again. In fact, a group of biologists from Stanford found that walking more than 5 feet at a time can cause joint pain, fatigue, and even extreme hunger. The study concluded that the maximum effort the human body can safely endure is reaching for an item high on a shelf. Our bodies simply aren't built to stand up and move around. So maybe those high-intensity spin classes and daily jogs aren't such a good idea. Instead of walking up the stairs every day, try taking the elevator whenever possible. You can even use a fitness tracker to let you know when you've been exerting too much energy. Your body will appreciate it. For The Onion, I'm Jill Hooper.
This is the Onion News Network. Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. And you are free to call in and talk live. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. We open up the phone lines and allow you to call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And you can call in and discuss what you want, but I've got a little piece of show prep here. Angie, you've heard about the New Zealand shooting, I presume, right?
I did.
It's hard not to.
Yep.
And turns out there's some lunatic goes out there and shoots a bunch of people at the mosque. Looks like 50 dead. And, I mean, you've got to basically be under a rock at this point not to have heard about this. But what I didn't know was it's illegal in New Zealand to share or even possess this video. They've got laws that they've had for decades that say you can't have this, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I saw that. I was really surprised.
Yeah, here from ZeroHedge.com. I don't usually use them as a source, but hey, you know, I danced with the one who brought me, and here's the story. New Zealand authorities have reminded citizens that they face up to 10 years in prison for knowingly possessing a copy of the New Zealand mosque shooting video, and up to 14 years in prison for sharing it. Corporations such as web hosts face an additional $200,000 fine. Those are New Zealand dollars. It's only $137,000 U.S. under the same law. Terrorist Brenton Tarrant, I guess, is the bad guy's name there. We're not supposed to use that name because somehow it makes people want to do it more or some darn thing. I don't know what it is. But he used Facebook Live to broadcast the first 17 minutes of his attack on the Al Noor Mosque in Christchurch, New Zealand at approximately 1:40 p.m. on Friday. The first two of mosque attacks, which were left 50 dead and 50 injured. So, I mean, in this, he live streams. Somehow Facebook is bad and wrong, I guess, for having live streaming. The politicians over there got really upset that Facebook even has an ability to live stream. And, I mean, lots of people millions probably of people use Facebook daily to live stream something. Probably boring, maybe exciting, but certainly not deadly. Sure. It's pretty rare that somebody streams something deadly on Facebook.
But it has happened.
Yeah, and the vast majority of it is just somebody rambling on at their laptop, would be my guess. Copies of the live stream, along with his lengthy manifesto, began to rapidly circulate in various file hosting sites following the attack, which was noted Friday, was quickly scrubbed from the mainstream platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Scribd, whatever that is. YouTube has gone so far as to intentionally disable search filters so that people cannot find the shooting materials, including footage of suspected multiple shooters, as well as the arrest of this guy and other suspects. So, I mean, I think that people should be able to find the things they're curious about. Yes, there are copycats, but Are you really going to stop the copycats by stopping the sharing of the video?
No, I don't think so. If someone has an intention to do something evil, they're going to do it, whether there's a video or not.
This is the biggest news around, and I don't even know. I've heard that there's multiple copies, different manifestos going around, so you don't even know whether it's his manifesto or some other person's manifesto.
Right.
So now we've got fake manifestos. Is it illegal to share the fake manifesto or just the real one? I don't even know. On Saturday, journalist Nick Monroe reported that New Zealand police have warned citizens that they face imprisonment for distributing the video, while popular New Zealand Facebook group Wellington Live notes that the NZ police would like to remind the public that it is an offense to share an objectionable publication, which includes the horrific video from yesterday's attack. If you see this video, report it immediately. Do not download it. Do not share it. If you are found to have a copy of the video or have shared it, you face fines of potential imprisonment. So there you go. The very popular website is threatening you with imprisonment for having a piece of video. Now, this doesn't suggest that you've harmed anyone.
No, not at all.
It doesn't suggest you've created a victim.
Nope.
It just suggests that we have created a law surrounding the sharing of illegal materials.
Right. And who says it's illegal? It happened. It's fact. It's real.
Yep. And it's so weird that that they would do this. I mean, like, what about a bank robbery? What about a bike theft? I mean, is every crime that's caught on video now, or at least in New Zealand, I don't know, is every crime now bad and wrong to share because it's a crime and it was caught on video?
There are cameras everywhere, so everything is caught on video.
And I don't know necessarily why. I haven't seen this video. I don't care to go look for it. It's not my thing to go hunting down the videos of people getting shot. It seems awful to me. But I mean, I don't know that I want incarcerated young kids who don't have enough sense not to share this stuff. And I know that the two people that they've got in jail at this point are 18 and 22. At both of those ages, I was nearly worthless to society. But at some point or another, I managed to pull myself out of it.
Right.
Along with the censorship of online materials and investigation of content-sharing platforms such as BitChute and 8chan, where the shooter posted a link in the live stream of his attack, the social discussion service Dissenter has been blocked in New Zealand, created by the people behind Twitter competitor Gab.ai. Dissenter is a browser extension which pops up a third-party content section for any website where people can discuss content outside of the control of the website owner. So you have to have this as a plugin for your browser to even communicate to other people who have it as a plugin for their browser. They're disallowing that. It's like disallowing ham radios or something. I mean, ham radios are probably used more than this website. I don't even know.
I've never heard of it.
No, I have never heard of it either. Meanwhile, far-right commentator Milo Yiannopoulos, I heard this guy, but it's been some time since he's really got any good news, was banned from Australia in the wake of the New Zealand shootings after he said on Facebook that attacks like Christchurch happened because the establishment panders to and mollycoddles extremist leftism and barbaric alien religious cultures. Well, it sounds like he's going after Islam. I don't know that I agree with Milo Yiannopoulos, but then again, you have to have opinions in order to come up with your own opinion. Who knows whether this is true or not? There's no way to know. It's just an assertion. Australia's immigration minister, David Coleman, said on Saturday's statement that Yiannopoulos' comments were appalling and they foment hatred and division, adding Milo Yiannopoulos will not be allowed to enter Australia for his proposed tour this year. I heard that he is now allowed again. I don't know exactly. Look, that's not news. While the Christchurch attacks were utterly reprehensible, supporting them is now punishable in the United Kingdom. On Saturday afternoon, a 24-year-old man from Oldham, wherever that is, was arrested on suspicion of sending malicious communications in support of the mosque attacks. It's unclear what he has alleged to have written. So apparently just saying, I like this, yay, is, look, it's distasteful, but do we really need to lock people up over it?
No, I think it's just a matter of freedom of speech.
Right. In the United States, I would presume you could still say, Well, I'm not going to even get that because I don't want the soundbite to go out. The Greater Manchester Police said in a statement that they had become aware of a post on social media making reference to and support for the terrible events in New Zealand. Police have made urgent inquiries, and a man aged 24 from Oldham is now under arrest on suspicion of sending malicious communications. It's clear that people are worried and really understand that it is truly terrible what happened yesterday. It's hard to put any form of words, said Assistant Chief Constable Russ Jackson, who added, "We have nothing to suggest any threat locally, but none of this can diminish how people feel, and that is why we want to be there to offer support at this difficult time." You're not offering support. You're locking people up.
Yeah, they're offering rules.
Right. Thanks for the help. This is what could happen here in the United States at any time. I mean, these are English-speaking democracies right now, or things that call themselves democracies, or parliamentary democracy, whatever. They're not far removed from what goes on here in the U.S., and I can assure you that there are people who want to see somebody locked up who would make a statement in support or share a video like this.
It will happen.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, it's hard to believe that would be avoided. Government grows, right? The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. Or you can use the Discord chat. Just go to discord.freetalklive.com to get started.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And you are welcome to call in. I want to tell you about freedomsphoenix.com. Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the latest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's Freedoms with an S. Phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. I get their daily dispatch, well, every day. It's called daily for a reason, and I think it's great. I get a lot of my show prep out of there, and I think you'll enjoy it too. freedomsphoenix.com. So, got a story here from zerohedge.com where they're talking about in New Zealand, and to some extent in England, but I'll explain that here in a second. But in New Zealand, it is illegal to share or possess knowingly the video of the shooter from a few days ago there, that the mosque shooter. And I was kind of stunned that was the case. I thought that seemed odd. I mean, it's a crime, sure, it's bad, sure, but the possession of the video of it? And why is that? Do you have any ideas, Angie, as to why they might make it illegal just because they don't like it?
I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid of what people might think and what they might see and how they might feel.
Yeah, they mentioned here, one of the UK cops mentioned feelings very particularly.
Mm-hmm.
He said regarding somebody who had made a post in support of this shooter, clearly not a hero, that he might make somebody feel bad, so they arrested the 24-year-old that made the post. No idea whether this person's drunk or whatever. Who knows? People go post all kinds of things online. I mean, just surprising to me that they would arrest somebody. But this guy's from Oldham, wherever that might be in the United Kingdom. I'm stunned by that.
Now, did he have a prior record, or was there anything showing that he should be arrested other than him sharing this video?
They didn't mention a prior record, but they did say that he's under arrest of suspicion of sending malicious communications.
Okay.
So there you go. Bad communications. I don't know. I'm just stunned by it as anyone. I thought we ought to get that out here at the start of the show so that people can hear it, because that's the big news. But you brought in an article that I thought was kind of interesting, and I was going to lead with it, but I found this, and I just felt like we had to mention that first. Yeah. So apparently, some preacher man came out with the statement that hell was invented by the church
to control people with fear.
Okay.
Yep, it's an older article. It was an interview done on Dateline back in August of 2006.
Okay.
Just the bishop's name is Spong. He leads in with, I don't think hell exists. I happen to believe in life after death, but I don't think it's got a thing to do with reward and punishment. Religion is always in the control business, and that's something people don't really understand. It's in a guilt-producing control business.
That's what I kind of believe too. I mean, I like the arguments that theists make that that something can't be destroyed, that maybe there's an afterlife. I like who doesn't want to believe in an afterlife? Just dying stinks. That's a crappy thing. So at some point in my life, I went from just constantly questioning what it was that I believed to just saying, look, I believe it, and I'm fine with that. I can live with it. I don't need to convince anybody else of believing something. This is what I believe. But I could never rectify in my mind the notion that a just and loving God would create a situation where I either have to believe one of the myriad of sets of holy texts that exist, that don't make any sense to me particularly, or I go off to the bad place. It just doesn't sit well with me. I mean, I feel like, look, if you've got to have the notion of hell for, someplace to put Hitler, all right, fine. Hell's for Hitler. But other than that, I mean, I'm just not quite ready for it.
He continues, and if you have heaven as a place where you're rewarded or for your goodness and hell as a place where you're punished for your evil, then you sort of have control of the population. And so they create this fiery place which has quite literally scared the hell out of people throughout Christian history, and it's part of a control tactic.
So it's like the carrot and the stick, right?
Right.
So you've got the donkey. You hang the carrot out in front of the donkey, and when it gets tired of chasing the carrot, you just whack it with the whip or the stick on the hindquarters, and in that way you have both the positive and the negative reinforcement that it takes to take a mindless population and move them forward
and have them do what you want them to do.
And I'm not saying that I don't think that Christianity and perhaps Islam, I don't know that much about Islam, aren't brilliant religions. I think that they're well made for, some percentage of the population that perhaps would be evil otherwise. I don't know who these people are, but I'll take your word for it. Some of them, maybe they would be evil in the absence of these religions. I'm not looking to get rid of anyone's religion or anything like that, but if the preacher man wants to come out and talk about it, then yeah, I agree with him. It doesn't make any sense to me either. I don't know why there would necessarily even be a reward in the afterlife either. My presumption is that if we exist after our death, we probably existed before our birth, and my guess is then life is something like a movie where you go for the immersion, for the conflict. Just to see this experience. It's got to be pretty boring to be immortal and just sitting out there all the time. So, maybe they need some entertainment. Just a guess. That's just me making some wild guesses. Some mortal being sitting on a little clod of dirt that's circling an insignificant star.
Morrison, the interviewer, continues, but wait a minute, you're saying that hell, the idea of a place under the earth or somewhere you're tormented for an eternity, is actually an invention of the church? Spong, the bishop, continues,
Who else would it be an invention of? I mean, who has the power and the sway to invent it besides the church? Welcoming Jay Noon here to the studio.
Hey, thanks for having me. Sorry I'm a little late, but Sir William Blackstone wrote this 4-volume book called William Blackstone's Commentaries on English Law. And I don't know if it's in the actual commentaries of English Law, which was actually the number 2 seller books of books number 2 selling book after the Bible when the United States was being settled by basically the English colonists. Anyways, William Blackstone, who I've studied very much because our common law system is really pretty much built on a lot of what he had to say back then, he described hell as a room below the judge's chambers, or a room below the courtroom, and he talks about how a lot of this stuff comes from intertwining of Vatican and control over English crown, or some people would say it was English crown control over Vatican and vice versa. where a lot of our law comes from.
So that the hell that we believe in today may very well have just been some spiritual representation of a very real situation going on between the bureaucrats arguing about religion and law, right?
Well, I've been in that room underneath the court room, and that's the jail cell.
Oh. Free Talk Live, 855-450, free.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. Like to remind you that if it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, no matter where you are, we are live here on Free Talk Live. Doesn't matter whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, Independence Day, we're here. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
The number is 855-450-3733. We're going to get back to this story about how this preacher Spong. I've heard his name before someplace. Is talking about how hell was invented by the church, but just dropped off the phone line. Sorry. I guess we are going back to that story. That's how these things go. Jay, it was somebody named Eli who was calling in to say thanks for something or another. God knows. It could have been a good story, though. We'll see. The number is 855-450-3733.
Spong continues, I think the church fired its furnaces hotter than anybody else, but I think there's a sense in most religious life of reward and punishment in some form. The church doesn't like for people to grow up because you can't control grown-ups. That's why we talk about being born again. When you're born again, you're still a child. People don't need to be born again. They need to grow up. They need to accept their responsibility for themselves and the world.
I like that. I said this has been some time ago that I said it, but I said for myself, I believe that heaven and hell exist right here on earth, and they're of our own makings. That obviously, bad things can happen to you that aren't your actions, but I've become relatively obsessed in my life with making as good a decision as I can make in a given circumstance. Whatever a decision is to be made. Besides food, I'm really bad at that. Whatever the decision is to be made, I try to, what are the possible outcomes here? I don't want to overthink it or anything like that. But, usually you can find one or two good decisions you could make versus a whole bunch of bad ones. And if you make, success is a series of good decisions lined up. So, I'm just presuming that life's going to be better and better as things go by if I continue to make more and more good decisions. Probably should really work on that food thing, though. Angie, you can help with that, right?
Of course.
But Mark, you have a pretty good. I've gotten to know you pretty good the past few years, and you have generally a good attitude. You're fairly positive about things. I don't see you be like negative about stuff. And
I try not to take myself too seriously.
And I have some friends that I grew up with that are like these negative Nancys, or they're always telling me some reason why I can't do something. And we got these people in this liberty movement too. It's like, you're gonna fight the property taxes? You just can't do that. Just pay them. Don't waste your time. And it's like, I'm like, what'd you move here for? To down the situation? But those are the people who, like, every time I go into court, it costs me a ton of money. I take a day off of work and just. I don't care what you're going to do. If you're going to, learn how to ride a horse, you're going to learn how to drive a car, you're going to learn how to fight the system. You got to have a good attitude about it, just in general. And I've found I don't put any effort or any energy into people anymore that just have like this, bad attitude, this, glass half full sense. And
right.
So people do create their own heaven and hell. And, I believe. I got an awesome wife. I got a nice property now. I do work. I love every day. I work with people that I enjoy working with. So I believe that I've created my own, I wouldn't say it's heaven, but, it's pretty darn close to it. I'm certainly not living in a hell situation.
Yeah, hanging out with Shaolin, I imagine you are feeling a little bit of heaven. Let's go to Eli calling in from Lebanon. Eli, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Gotcha. What's on your mind, Eli?
Groovy. I just wanted to send some praise Jay's way. I met him the other day just off the bat, and I've been asking around, getting a feel for the different areas in New Hampshire, and people have everywhere, in every area of New Hampshire, have rated Jay highly.
Oh, yes.
They say Jay's a groovy guy, a great guy.
He's a super activist, there's no doubt.
Well, thank you.
Well, not just a super activist, but he seems because there are plenty of people who do a lot and put a lot on the line in New Hampshire in what they're whatever they're particularly interested in doing and doing to the fullest extent. But it seems like Jay is able to do that and also maintain like a really good reputation with people across the state. And I think that's great.
Yeah, if you want to be part of a movement of liberty lovers, you can be part of the Great Freedom Migration here to New Hampshire. Go to shiresociety.org and check out the pledge we've got there. Maybe you'll want to come and hang out with us here in New Hampshire. It's for people who are really into the ideas of liberty, but if you're willing to put a little time and effort into it, well, we're here for you.
Well, and it's not really that hard in New Hampshire, in the freedom. In this freedom community, to have a good reputation when you're working with a bunch of other solid people, you're interacting with a bunch of other solid people, and this is such an open community. You figure out who the the undesirables are really quick. They are outed because all we have here is our reputation. And like, for example, I have a duplex house, and the other side, the tenant had lived there for a couple of years, had moved out, and he'd given us, plenty of notice. He'd been looking for a house to buy, and so we kind of put out to the community, hey, our small dome's going to be up for rent. And there was one particular guy who sent me a text message who clearly does not care about his reputation. I'm not going to say his name, but he moved here, and he was free stater, blah blah, and he's kind of like burnt a few bridges. And I was like, nah, dude, you we don't need you. You were not a good tenant for this other friend of mine, and then the guy before that, and then another guy calls me up and he says, hey, I'd like to rent your place, and he's a solid dude, and he's going to rent it. And I didn't even have to like try, for example, to find a tenant to fill that. But and the thing is like I want to do a talk about this actually at the Alt Expo tent during Fork Fest and Pork Fest this year, about how the golden rule, tolerance, and forgiveness are very essential to the freedom community. So if you got a neighbor who's loud and plays music you think is obnoxious, don't call the cops. Go over and like have a talk with them. Be like, hey, I'm going to try to go to sleep at this hour or whatnot. And also, if you got and just treat your neighbor like you treat your own kids. In fact, if you love your neighbor's kids more than you love your own kids, it's going to be a really good community. And that's just kind of something that I think is lacking a little bit, because you still got some of these people who come, they want to kind of like be crotchety and cranky, but they're still trying to be libertarian. And we can weed that out a little bit. It'll stop a lot of the infighting, and we'll have right now it's very harmonic. It's a very good community, and I love it. And that helps too. Is everything I'm doing is stuff I like to do, and it's all people I like to work with. So it kind of makes it easy to just get along with everybody.
Eli?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I thank you for that as well, because I am coming from an area where there was a lot of transients where people didn't really live for a long time, and subsequently there wasn't really a community. And I had people like actually a woman obsessed with me for flying an ANCAP flag out of my my last domicile, to the point where she was looking in my vehicle and recording what was in my vehicle, as well as calling the cops on me.
Busybodies.
Just trying to get me in trouble with the cops. It kind of blew my mind. And I repeatedly tried to extend dinner to her, a dinner invitation, such that she could talk to me and we could have a relationship and actually get to know me. But unfortunately, that was absolutely not what she was interested in doing. So thank you, Jay.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the call, Eli. I appreciate it. And welcome to New Hampshire. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
Later in the hour, the U.S. Postal Service announces that you can deliver the mail yourself if you think it's so easy. But first up in health news, researchers from Harvard University have found a strong link between male virility and wearing Motley Crue denim jackets. For the study, researchers paired fans of the band with a control group and found that those wearing Motley Crue attire were far more likely to knock out some chick's totally jacked boyfriend and then do it with her later that same day than those who simply wore casual clothes and probably wouldn't know what it feels like to have 2 threesomes in one night.
Men who own jackets with an image of Tommy Lee and Nikki Sixx sitting on top of a pair of breasts with nipples in the shape of pentagrams showed higher levels of sexual potency, endurance, and libido. These guys do it all the time, and sometimes even in public. They don't care.
Although the study primarily focused on men in Motley Crue jackets, researchers also found that men who listened to Nirvana had a high likelihood of staying virgins forever.
This is the Onion News Network.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. Yeah, you can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
And I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. Bitcoin.com, you can choose a Bitcoin wallet. You can get some free Bitcoin. You can buy some Bitcoin. They can show you where to help spend your Bitcoin, places like save@purse.com. You can also read the latest news, which is important, news.bitcoin.com, or engage with the community in the Bitcoin forum. You can learn more. By the way, there's games there. You can play games with your Bitcoin. Learn more at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. Let's go to the phones. We've got Andrew calling in from Alabama. Andrew, you're listening to on LRN.FM.
Hey, Mark, thanks for taking my call.
Sure, what's on your mind?
Well, I heard you say a few minutes ago that we're talking about reputation, and just that you're the type of person, aside from what you eat, you always make a rigorous, if you will, attempt to always make the right decision or do the right thing, or in other words, do good.
Yeah, string good decisions
And-
together.
Yes, and I believe that you can, like, I'm that way too. I believe there's always a good decision that you can make. You never have to make an evil decision or one that causes evil or harm. Right? I think there's always, and if you can't think of something, you're just not trying hard enough. There's always some creative way to bring good to a situation, right? But what I've heard, and so I've been getting into these conversations with people who I just talked to, having a beer with or whatever, if they believe the same thing, because there's this concept of the greater good, right? And I don't believe in the great. I think, greater good, the greater good is evil, because it's the situation that you're put in where you have evil thing number one and number two, and one's like a -10 and one's a -2 evil. So you choose the greater good, but it's really the lesser evil. And I don't.
Can you give me some examples of what it might be like? I mean, I'm sure people, not that I disagree, I'm just asking.
Like taxes.
Okay.
Taxes as an example, or like any social welfare or like program or whatever. They'll say, well, we have to steal from you and take this. We have to do it for you, but for everybody. It's the greater good, right? Or
right. If we don't steal, threaten to take your home away from you and steal money through property taxes, then poor kids won't be educated.
And what about the
but even
roads?
on a more simplistic basis, like if your mother tells you to steal, well, thou shalt obey your parents, and then thou shalt not steal. It seems like you have to choose an evil. But even then, it's like, no, if my mom told me to do that, I could just like go out and ask to borrow a loaf of bread, or like do some dishes and earn a loaf of bread. Like I could think of a lot of ways I could do good and still provide the same end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like I just don't ever believe that you have to choose evil. And like these, you always think of some extreme circumstance, but really, what do you think about that? Like, because I haven't been able to think of one example that I would have to choose evil.
Yeah, I think that, there's, I guess, what comes to mind to me is voting. When you talk about lesser of two evils, voting always comes to mind. And I guess what I would say regarding voting is that you're always going to have, at least when it comes to voting for politicians, if you're voting for, say, a line item where it's like, should we tax X geographic area for X amount of money in order to pay for Y. In that circumstance, then the answer is clearly no, we shouldn't. But in the case of some politician or another, you may be like just choosing which one of these politicians is least crappy, and that. I tend not to judge people based on their choices for whoever the politician is, because maybe I'll agree, maybe I'll disagree that it was the best choice of those 3 or 4 or 5 people, whomever it might have been. But ultimately, we're all put into a catch-22 where we can't really pick the right choice.
Unless you're in New Hampshire and you got a whole bunch of libertarians. It's pretty nice when I lived in Manchester, in the fall, and I voted. I literally voted for a whole bunch of people that I knew they were on the ballot.
They were going to be better choices.
That was really cool. Well, at least if they did something stupid, I could go up to them and rattle their cage and be like, "What the hell's wrong with you, man?" But half these politicians you can't do that with because I don't know.
That much is true. Andrew?
Yeah, no, I mean that's a great example, I guess, where you're having to pick between politicians, all of which are a bad choice. But then, like, surely there's somebody out there running for president who, I mean, there has to be someone who, even if it's your neighbor, like, or Ian, hey, Ian, if I vote for you for president, would you do it? I mean, I don't know if he would or he wouldn't.
Yeah.
But that's your choice, the way that you would believe in.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it is for me when I vote for a libertarian. The chances are good that the libertarian nominee for president isn't going to be taking office in 2 years. So when I vote for them, whether they are, the most stalwart libertarian that's ever existed or just a shadow of that, it doesn't really matter because at that point, I've really just cast a vote for a third party. And those are the choices I make. What my criteria for voting is that they have to be statistically able to win the presidency. So there were only 4 people on the ballot in 2016 that could have done that: the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, Republicans, and Democrats. And I chose to vote for the Libertarian in that circumstance. And it's not like I've regretted it. Thanks for the call, Andrew. Appreciate the topic. The number is 855-450-3733, 855-450-FREE. And that's how the story we got onto that topic with was this preacher man that's saying that hell was invented by the church. Please go on, Angie.
Morrison, the interviewer, asked Spong, what do you make of the theology, which is pretty quite prominent these days in America, which is there is one guaranteed way not to go to hell, and that is to accept Jesus as your personal savior? Spong goes, yeah, I grew up in that tradition. Every church I know claims that we are the true church, that they have some ultimate authority. We have the infallible Pope. We have the Bible. The idea that the truth of God can be bound in any human system, by any human creed, by any human book, is almost beyond imagination for me. I mean, God is not a Christian. God is not a Jew or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist. All of those are human systems, which human beings have created to try to help us walk into the mystery of God.
Right. I always feel like if somebody says, this is the only way, that person's just looking to control me. Maybe not consciously that's what their plan is, but that's what they believe, and they're being, ultimately controlled by somebody else. It seems like a cruel God to me that would hand down the Bible to us, and this book that's been translated, and obviously there's been mistranslations. We can see them historically that they've existed. Doctrine has been handed down. It's confusing, and really, here's a sticker for me. May not be a sticker for everybody, but it is for me. It says very specifically that you have to believe in Jesus' name. Jesus said you have to believe in his name, but Jesus' name isn't Jesus. It's Yeshua Ben Yosef. And the idea that I am going to believe in the Greek name of Jesus, I find this confusing. I understand not everybody does. But am I going to go to hell because a fair and just God is going to throw me into eternal torment, me, one of his children, into eternal torment because I didn't believe this story? If my son, and I only have one, I have an only begotten son, right? If he does something bad, I don't decide to torture him for even a short period of time in order to teach him otherwise. Now, I'm not saying punishments don't exist at my house, but they're pretty minor compared to something I would call torture. And this is torture for all eternity, so that seems bad.
I personally think the whole Jesus character was manufactured by the Vatican Church to enslave mankind, and a lot of Jesus-loving Christians really they get offended, they get upset, and they disagree with me.
Sure,
and
I'd say that Jesus was just one of the many faces of God, and that it's a pathway.
And I don't disagree that Jesus was actually a man that did walk the earth at one time. I mean, I've met a few Mexican guys named Jesus, and we all called him Jesus because
it's fun.
We just all giggled about it. Exactly. Every time we called Jesus, he would just smile.
We had a cab driver in Mexico. His name was Jesus, and he'd go out and get meals for us. I'd say, "Thank you, Jesus, for our food."
Nice. So, anyways, I've studied this stuff a lot, and I really believe that we all have our own personal Jesus that the state creates, and we resurrect it every time we sign a government document that has the X next to it, and we keep on enslaving ourselves through this resurrection of our own personal Jesus.
So there's a cross there, and your signature somehow raises whatever's on the cross?
Somehow.
That idea?
In the paper world, yes.
Got it. The number is 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNlife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNlife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,307. Silver opened at $15.32. And Bitcoin is trading around $4,015. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, for the second time in a year, a jury has ruled that Monsanto's Roundup weed killer was a factor in causing a man's cancer. On Tuesday, a jury in San Francisco found that Monsanto's Roundup weed killer played a significant role in contributing to 70-year-old Edwin Hardeman's cancer. Hardeman used Roundup on his 56-acre Sonoma County property for decades before he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2015. The Mind Unleashed reports a unanimous verdict concluded a trial that may determine the future of thousands of similar lawsuits filed against biotechnology giant Monsanto. CBS News reports that U.S. District Court Judge Vince Carbria controversially split Hardeman's trial into 2 phases, with the first phase exclusively focused on scientific facts. Judge Carbria chose to ignore evidence of apparent corporate misbehavior by Monsanto representatives because he said it was a distraction from the scientific question of whether Roundup causes cancer. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Bray Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Bray Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybraybotanicals.com. And listen up, Liberty Beat listeners. Right now, you can save 10% off your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. A bus full of school children in Italy was set on fire by its driver in the outskirts of Milan on Wednesday. The Mind Unleashed reports it happens in protest of migrants who have drowned due to the country's hardline stance on blocking migrant vessels. Reuters reports that police were called to the scene and quickly managed to get everyone to safety before arresting the man. The driver, a 47-year-old Singhalese-born Italian with a criminal record, reportedly shouted, quote, "Stop the deaths at sea. I'll carry out a massacre," end quote. That's according to police spokesman Marco Palmieri. All of the children were able to escape before the bus was completely engulfed in flames. One child told reporters the man had threatened to pour gas on them and set them ablaze. Last Thursday, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signed a bill into law that formalizes and expands the state's medical marijuana program, further nullifying federal cannabis prohibition in effect. Activist Post reports that last summer, Oklahoma voters approved a measure legalizing medical marijuana in the state. A coalition of 3 Republicans introduced House Bill 2612 on February 4th to create a regulatory structure and establish important patient protections for the state medicinal cannabis program. The Oklahoma House passed the bill on a 93-5 vote. The Senate approved the measure 43-5. With Governor Stitt's signature, the bill will take effect 90 days after the legislature adjourns. The new law creates the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority and establishes a registry for qualified patients and their caregivers. It also creates a revolving fund to handle fees, taxes, and fines related to the medical marijuana program. The expanded patient protections written into the bill are significant. Under the law, a medical marijuana patient or caregiver licensee shall not be denied the right to own, purchase, or possess a firearm, ammunition, or firearm accessories based solely on his or her status as a medical marijuana patient or caregiver licensee. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
They started with Google Glass, and now the engineers behind Google have created a new body part to strap gadgets onto. They're calling it the flange, and the new synthetic skin appendage fits between the shoulder blades into a flat surface capable of holding a wide array of new gadgets for Google to hawk to consumers. While unveiling the innovation today, Google CEO Larry Page said, quote, "The possibilities for the number of completely pointless gadgets to strap, bind, and stick to your body are now endless." Early adopters are already raving about the synthetic body part.
It overheats and burns my skin pretty bad when I have it on, but I'm really getting to like it.
I'm actually thinking of getting a second one installed.
Critics are cautioning the tech world to not hail the flange as an achievement yet, since several users have reported problems with the device permanently grafting to their spinal column if worn overnight. Coming up next, Doritos unveils new e-Doritos that come in JPEG form whenever you're hungry.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You are free to call in and talk live here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. It's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Wherever you are, you can call and talk here. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
The number, 855-450-3733. Angie, in the last hour, we were reading an article from some preacher out there, Spong, who is saying that hell was created by the church as a way to control people through fear.
Right.
Yeah. Well, how much longer does this go?
It just has a couple more sentences.
Yeah.
Spong continues that I honor my tradition. I walk through my tradition, but I don't think my tradition defines God. It only points me to a God.
That's kind of how I see it too. Is there's many ways to get to a relationship with whatever the deity out there. This mystery that so many of us believe that exists, and one can say, look, there's no proof for a God, and I gotcha. There's not a lot of proof. A lot of people have experiences that lead them to believe that there's a God, and I'm not going to tell those people that they're wrong. But what one can point to is that the human species apparently is theist, right? Like, there's, best I can tell, there hasn't been a culture yet that is just not interested in the supernatural, God, or something like that. They all believe in something beyond what we currently have,
and that's what makes things fun.
Yeah, well,
I love all those stories.
Yeah, look, to me, I think whatever it is that you've got going, that's your relationship, and it's cool. For me, it's not going to be my motivating thing because I've got my own story, and I appreciate this Spong guy coming out and sort of probably giving a lot of people some relief in this area, because it can be really stressful thinking that you're always failing and you're always, guilty of something, that this eternal being is always watchful over how much you're giving praise and how much you're touching yourself at night. No.
That's a sin.
God.
And,
frustrating.
There are these people that I know, now that you mention it, it brings back some memories. Remember this one kid in high school, he's like, I'm going to hell anyway, so I'm just going to do whatever, he just didn't care.
Right.
I mean, he's just convinced he's going to hell no matter what.
So at that point, he bought some portion of the story and just decided, okay, that's it. I might as well do everything wrong.
Yeah, and he's one of these guys, see you in hell, brother. When you walk away from her or something, or see him somewhere, and he was just.
Did he ever end up in prison?
He kind of might be dead, actually, now I'm thinking about it. He's definitely on that list of kids that went to high school with that got into heroin, and that list every now and then on Facebook, you see another, overdose or whatever. Or, he's had a chronic struggle in life, but I mean, I knew this guy since we were, 7, 8 years old, and his parents were like, iron-fisted, I don't know.
Religious sorts?
I don't even know if I was going to say Catholics, but I'm not sure. I don't know what. There was some kind of religious you're going to burn in hell, kind of folks, and it really screwed this dude up.
It was just ingrained in him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel for those people in those situations, because something similar happened to me. I believed all the things that I'd been told in Sunday school and at private school and all that stuff, and then one day I stopped believing them because I didn't believe every aspect of the story. I remember the Noah story didn't make much sense to me. So I'm like, well, if this is wrong, then it's all wrong. Because I was taught that it was all right? Like, either this is the unerring word of God or it isn't. And once it wasn't the unerring word of God anymore, then it wasn't. And then I didn't believe any of that. That sent me on this path of destructive behavior that ended me up in, ultimately in prison. And I think that although that particular type of rearing may really work for some people, I think that you need to understand that there's another side of the coin, and that it really doesn't work for other types, and that one needs to be careful about what sort of statements one makes surrounding those kind of things. Let's go. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I got to say, my father raised me for up till about 5 with no mom. He was a single dad. And my grandmother had us a lot when we were little kids. And she was one of these, she was raised like hardcore Irish Catholic, but she was like very spiritual. She was really into like putting the crystals, in the moon when there's a full moon. And she was really into like angels are looking out for you, and karma. Like, I can remember I was in Kmart, and I don't know, I broke something on a thing, and she like slapped me and made me like pay for it and buy it, and then she told me karma was going to get me for doing that. So my and then I don't know, a couple weeks later, some toy I really liked. I mean, I was like in first grade. I remember telling my teacher about this in
6
first
or
grade.
7, yeah.
Yeah, and the toy broke, or whatever it was, and my grandmother was like, "Yep, that's karma. So just a couple more toys going to break, and your karma debt will be paid, because I was just like,
broke this other
I was
thing.
being a little bastard. I just kicked something in Kmart, and it like flew across, and it broke, and it was like $30. My grandmother paid for it and made me like work it off for $1 an hour.
But wasn't that doing the right thing? I mean, you paid your debt to karma because you paid for it and you worked for it. So why would karma come back to get you later?
She had this theory of like, you got to have to, like, if you do something bad, you have to pay back a triple debt or something. That
okay.
It was just something she like
some quantity.
Sure.
Let's go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh yes, I've been going to the senior center, but I have requested a chapel.
Are you senior?
Or meditation room at the senior center.
Are you a senior?
No, I'm gonna qualify. I could be a member this July 24th.
What's that?
So
July 24th should be a senior.
Okay.
Okay, so my whole point is that, well, they think that, and then they say, well, the gift room is empty. Nobody wants to run it. So there's an empty room. It just sits there. And then I like to meditate for 15 minutes or do my decrees, chanting, and it always bothers people, because they ask me, "Is that Christian?" And I say, "Well, I pray to Buddha and Hindu religion," and they're like, and they report me and they turn me in so that I cannot. So then I cannot pray anywhere in that place. So, but the thing is, all the hospitals that take government funding, like UNM Hospital, for example, it's government funded, and even the college, they have a Catholic chapel, a huge one.
Yep.
And they
Airports have them too.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm talking about. All the universities they have a Lutheran center and for an organization, and they take taxpayer funding. This whole thing about it takes taxes, so what we cannot have any religious thing in this property. But that's bunch of nonsense because, like I said, a hospital has 2 chapels.
Yeah.
And the colleges have this, like I said, a huge Catholic center. I mean, huge with 8 different rooms. So.
Yeah, I'd say as long as there's a chapel, and that chapel's not necessarily set aside for one particular religion or something like that, yeah, that makes sense to me that any tax-funded organization can have that if they want.
Well, here's the thing.
The whole thing is that what I'm saying is what they don't want is a mission where they preach to you. I've been to the rescue meeting. They preach to you for an hour before they feed you hot dogs and beans.
Yeah.
For the homeless. So that's completely their organization. So, but what I'm saying is, if religion is not pushed and forced on you and beaten into you, and you're going there out of your free volition to practice your own faith, open to all religions. You pray and meditate, but it's a room. So why it should be tax funded? They do very well in all the hospitals. They do well in.
Every time I've seen a chapel, it's been empty, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be at some tax funded thing. Sarah, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
Jay. Forkfest 2019 is coming up June 13th through the 18th.
Oh, we're going to have a good time.
Rogers Campground. I heard you're going to be having Man Camp there. Now, there's going to be several other events going on, including the big gay dance party and a few other things.
Oh, Buzz is putting on a big gay dance?
No.
Okay.
This is
somebody else?
Yeah, Derek and Steven are.
Oh, right. I heard him talk about that maybe last night, actually. Yeah.
So tell me about Man Camp.
Oh, I'd love to tell you about Man Camp. So Man Camp, the idea about Man Camp is to restore confidence in mankind. I'm going to be 40 years old this summer. My peers are virtually useless. They are virtually useless. My peers have been virtually useless my entire life.
Yeah.
They just, anything happens that, I wouldn't change a tire. I just call AAA. I mean, but the thing is, I'm not sure if I could do it safely. People are like, every Wednesday I have a good friend, and he's actually not a useless guy. He's a very handy guy, but he brings his truck to me almost every Wednesday. Every other Wednesday he comes down, and we work on his truck or one of his trailers. He's got a farm here in New Hampshire. He's a free stater. And he's like, I'm coming to do Man Camp. So, but the thing is the people who want government, there's two kinds of people who want government. Those who don't have the confidence to take care of themselves and feel they need government to take care of them. And then there's those who are these authoritarian types who want to prey on those people who don't have the confidence to take care of themselves. And the first group I had mentioned is much larger than the second group.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that
people
are being preyed on than are authoritarians. So my idea is let's do some things that that I got to grow up doing because I grew up on a farm. I am so blessed I grew up where my dad was like, now, it's probably a good thing that my dad was a single father because he was had to take me to work with him. He's like, you're cleaning stalls. And I don't even remember he told me to clean stalls. I just did it. I mean, when I was 6 years old, I taught a 15-year-old his first job, and that was cleaning stalls. So when we had a forge there and we did some iron working and we did a lot of horseshoeing and we were always fixing and repairing stuff. So I got a homestead property now. There's a lot of work that needs to be done around there. I was on the roof today, actually. And so the idea of Man Camp is at Forkfest, we're going to set up the blacksmithing area. We're actually, I think I got a girl who's going to teach an oxygen acetylene class and how to cut steel with an oxygen acetylene torch. We're going to have like a little get together on sharpening chains on chainsaws. You know, it's something we need in New Hampshire. We're going to have a lot of kids' activities.
I want to know how to sharpen a knife well too. I've found over time that sometimes I sharpen them better than others.
Yeah, and the thing is so my brother Josh is actually going to do that. He sharpens, you know, his horseshoeing, his hoof knife. He's a horseshoer. He's a farrier. You know, several times a day, and he can make your knife a razor blade that'll hold if it's a decent knife. So we're trying to get someone to do a little knife making class there. A few of the people I've talked to about doing it are a little intimidated. It might be me who does it, and I'm not like super, you know, I don't have a lot of knife making experience. I've made a few knives. I got to, you know, polish up on it. But yeah, there will actually be a knife sharpening thing there. There's, you know, basically activity, and we're gonna do all kinds of things. I'm actually making for Free Ross 2019. I want to do like a group effort. I'm gonna have it's gonna be basically a sheet of sheet metal, and we're gonna be able to take a MIG welder, and we're going to teach people how to weld with a MIG welder. We're going to actually do some gas oxyacetylene welding classes, the way that my great-grandfather welded when he worked for the power company, Con Edison. He was welded with gas, you know, hot flame.
Huh.
And so we just did a little bit of this up in Bangor, Maine. We were up at the Slopies, and Ernie Hancock was up there, and we made some ornamental iron art. For hanging, you know, basket holders and stuff and plants with Derek Slopey's kids. They were
getting time for Mother's Day.
7 and 12. Yep, we made some, and even Derek's wife, she got right in on it. And my wife Shallon, they were, you know, pounding hot steel on the anvil. And
I'm sending my son to you over the summer for a version of Man Camp, so he can learn how to do many of these things. More or less, he's just going to help you in whatever you're doing, as opposed to having a class for him.
Yep.
But you know, that's how people learn. They do these things. If you want to be involved in Forkfest and that and everything else, go to forkfest.party. Got a Telegram chat, Forkfest forum, forkfest.party. To get involved. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm interested in Man Camp.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of excitement about it. I actually made a Man Camp Telegram planning chat on Telegram. I got to do a public chat for Man Camp actually next. And there's a lot of excitement. The free rosting we're going to build is basically going to be a piece of like metal art that everybody can like put their name on, or I'm going to basically make it so you make it like a $10 donation to the Free Ross. And then we're going to take
sign their name in a TIG welder.
In a MIG welder, actually. Sign their name in a MIG welder, and or they can bend up some metal. I'm going to make it so like it's blank, and people are going to start it, and I'm going to help everybody through it. And then we're going to auction that off, and we're going to have the Free Ross benefit auction, which I'll be the auctioneer for, either on the Friday night or the Saturday night of Porkfest. But and there's just the Man Camp thing is it's going to be awesome. I got a lot of people are very excited about it. Like people coming out wanting to volunteer and teach things.
Now you call it Man Camp, but women can sign up too.
Well, women are you know, men that have a womb. We're all mankind. I want to get away from using the word person. You know, people. I'm always correcting people. They're like, oh, this person, and I'm like, oh, a person. If you look up that definition, is a corporation, trust, or other legal fiction. That's what a person is, and it's just the language has been so molested. And also, it's like everybody's like, oh, the man's going to put me down. It's like, well, be the man. Then you won't be being put down. Stop being anything other than a man. And it's just mankind, and you know, people get like hyper feminist about things and like oversensitive. I just don't even pay attention to it.
But you're happy to help anybody learn to weld.
I'm happy to help anybody learn how to do anything they want.
Let me ask you this: TIG welders for aluminum?
You can use a TIG welder for aluminum. I also have a MIG welder set up for aluminum.
Okay, so what is the difference between a TIG and a MIG?
Well, TIG is tungsten inert gas, but basically, so I taught Ernie and Derek did some TIG welding. TIG welding is just using, instead of using gas for your heat to melt two metals together, you're using electricity to melt two metals together. And TIG is tungsten inert gas. And inert gas is argon that removes all the atmosphere so you can make a really nice, clean, precise weld. Ernie Hancock has never TIG welded in his life. He's 57 years old, but he's done a lot of gas welding. That guy was doing TIG welds, you know, like he had been better than a lot of guys who have been TIG welding for a couple of years.
Like a pipe fitter.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's a similar process at gas welding. So a lot of the old timers do get TIG welding down pretty quick.
Got a story here from the LA Times that I want to go over, and I think I find this headline very surprising. More households now subscribe to some kind of streaming service than traditional TV, according to a new report. So
I believe it.
The cord cutting thing is no longer just a marginal thing that's being done. It is mainstream. Cord cutting is mainstream now. This is the end of the old media, broadcast media, that kind of thing. Now we've got something different going on.
Well, the marketplace has been opened up, thanks to internet.
It's true. You can get YouTube right on your TV.
YouTube, Netflix,
instant gratification.
Yep.
That too.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. You're welcome to call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. We're reading this article from the LA Times here that says that now we've reached the more than 50% threshold where more households subscribe to a streaming service than to traditional TV. Now, it's possible that a household subscribes to both. But now we have a situation where more people are subscribed to, more households subscribe to a streaming service than to traditional TV, and I think that this is it's a turning point. And
a lot of people I know, the only reason that they actually have cable television is because the bundle is cheaper for like broadband phone, internet access, and cable. Now we have this little cable company called TDS where I live in Henniker, New Hampshire, and it's like $41 just for internet, and there is no it isn't cheaper with the bundle, so we don't. I got no reason to subscribe.
Why
to
pay
cable.
extra?
Yeah, so I actually have never ever had cable since I moved out of my parents' house when I was 19.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I had cable too. There was a time when it was $19 or something to have cable to the house. So, well, why not have something when the TV gets turned on? But that's been a long time now with the internet. You've already got the internet. You're already paying for the internet. So just having some kind of box hooked up to your TV that allows you to have, I think it's your widgets or something. I don't know what they're called, but some kind of app that plays either YouTube or Amazon or whatever it might be. Amazon, I think they practically give away those Fire Sticks, or did at one point. So,
and yeah, cable's really expensive. The guy 6 months ago, I moved into this house, and the guy that was living there before us, he was very much into sports ball.
Yep.
And he was like talking about how he's broke and this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, well, he's like, I can't find a place any cheaper, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, what do you spend your money on? He gets like $2,500 a month between disability and a little job he works. And he's like, well, my cable bill, $122 a month. I'm like, what? He's like, well, he goes, you can't stream the football game and the Red Sox games. I don't know, he's kind of like a little behind technology, but I'm like, that's a lot of money, man, just to, watch a government funded subsidized industry. That's all it is as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, once you're talking about live sports, that's when that's where they got you. It's they still haven't quite brought that online entirely. I don't know everything. Somebody's probably listening and knows how you can get sports online. I don't know the answer. The number's 855-450-3733. If you've got a retail business and you're looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance, it's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, and it's not very hard. Just drop your personal crypto wallet addresses into their setup page and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash and Bitcoin Cash right at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. It's AnyPay.global. And it's a great service. Love it. But check it out, AnyPay.global. This story here from the LA Times talking about how for the first time, the percentage of households in the U.S. that subscribe to a digital streaming service, it's more than traditional television, according to the results of a new survey released Monday. Deloitte's 13th annual Digital Media Trends survey found that 69% of respondents have at least one streaming video subscription, probably Netflix or Amazon Prime.
I use my brother's Netflix account. I don't even have one.
Right, a lot of people, that's the case. Compared with 65% who have a traditional pay TV subscription. So that's cable, not somebody who just has rabbit ears. You could still do that.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that's pretty. The airwaves. A guy was at his place in Ware the other day, and he was telling me how he gets like 85 channels and he's got the antenna pointed towards like Boston. So
I can't believe you can get that.
Well, he's on a good spot. He's definitely got a clear shot to Manchester, and he picks up a ton of Boston stuff, and it's HD. It's like the high definition. It's not like your old 440 hertz, rabbit ears deal. This is, and he's got a rotator thing. He can turn it he says there isn't much in Concord, but he can get a lot of stuff. And he was,
it's a rotator. That's the issue. It's
right,
a directional antenna.
But he gets like an ESP N 1, 2, and 3. And he gets like a Fox 1, 2, and 3. He gets like a couple different NBCs. I mean, a lot of them are overlapping the same shows, but like some of the content is different. And there's a lot of there's all kinds of stuff on it. I don't know, but he likes it because he dumped cable because he got that digital. I think it's a digital broadcast or something. I don't know. It's a high frequency, like it's a small antenna.
Yeah, I would think the antenna would have to be directional in order to pick it up.
Yes, it is, absolutely.
The finding let's say 65% who have traditional pay subscription. The finding underscores the continued popularity of services such as Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime as more customers become disenchanted with the high costs associated with cable and satellite packages. And they are. And as more people leave, it seems like the prices continue to get higher. When the economic downturn hit, and I guess it was like 2008 or whatever, we tightened our belts there at my house, and we got rid of everything that we didn't have to have. And we went through each thing and looked at it and can you give up this? Can you give up that? Just looking at everything. And yeah, we could absolutely give up. At the time, I think we had Dish or something, and just cut it. And we've never gone back. We haven't had anything there for over 10 years. Now we've got a TV with it's like an old PlayStation 3 that the Amazon Prime, and YouTube is cycled through, and that's it.
So you could go buy like a $50 smartphone at Walmart and stream about any service. All these smartphones now, you can go USB to an HDMI.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
They work pretty good. But I wonder on that, how many people who still have actual cable subscriptions are, how many of those people are under 40? I bet you probably a few. Because my grandparents, they got to have cable. My one grandmother needs it to watch the Red Sox. My other grandmother, wants to watch CSI and all these crime investigation shows and the nightly news. And I'm like, So I'm showing them both. You could just do this on the internet.
Yep.
You don't need to have that cable.
My mom doesn't want to consume it that way.
And then
same deal.
So I bet you if you looked into the age category, it's going to be a lot of people that are north of 40 that are still subscribing.
Probably 10 years ago on Free Talk Live, we had a story where they found somebody who was still renting their AT&T telephone from the local AT&T affiliate. Now, I didn't even know what this meant, but apparently you didn't used to, before I was a kid, before I was born, you didn't used to be able to own a phone. You had to rent it from AT&T because they had the monopoly. And if you lived in the same place long enough and you didn't change your plan long enough, then you could potentially still be today renting a phone and paying the old phone rates and all that stuff. And likely, and of course the person who was doing this was probably in their 80s, 70s or 80s or something like that, and they hadn't moved and didn't have a lot of knowledge about phone plans or anything, so they just continued to do the same thing over and over again. But it just baffles me that some customer service person that they must have talked to, a few of them over the course of decades, that they didn't come up and say, this is a terrible deal.
Well, I mean, unless you're wanting to dump them. I just dumped Verizon the other day, right, and they're like, "Oh, we could give you." I'm like, "Listen, I'm done with you guys. Can you give me?" Here's what I said to them: "Can you give me a deal where I paid no taxes?" They're like, "What are you talking about? Well, do you have an exemption number?" Blah blah blah. I says, "No." I says, "But when I go buy a Straight Talk card at Walmart in New Hampshire, it's $45 and no tax. If I buy it in Massachusetts, I pay sales tax on it. But these people have been renting the phone for $4 a month for 25 years probably, and the customer service associate is not going to try to talk them out of it, and the only time, it's someone who's been doing this probably doesn't even know they're renting it,
Probably not.
They're just paying
they
their
don't
bill.
have a clue. It's just all part of the package.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Jeunesse has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to gcnlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to gcnlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's gcnlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You're free to call in and talk about whatever you want, but we're talking about this sea change here, where apparently more Americans now are using streaming services than they are sort of paid cable and dish type services. I'm amazed by it. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
I guess it had to happen at some point, but I I didn't think it was happening so quickly.
Well, it was just like the same thing, 6, 7, 8, 10, I don't know, 12 years ago, that it became more cell phone numbers than actual landline numbers. And I remember that was like a big deal when that happened. But of course, I mean, cell phones are convenient. You know, with landlines, you have to use the the conglomerate that has the local monopoly. I mean, wait till we get this like mesh network thing going that we've been working on, to where we can, via mesh network, we can choose any internet service provider we want. Or when the technology gets good enough to where satellite internet can be, affordable enough to use, that we can just work off whoever's satellite we want, and there's actual real competition, because it's like Ernie Hancock says, freedom is 62 miles up. If you can get a satellite in the air, and we get the satellite data packets get good enough for, all this streaming and all the crazy stuff we want to do, we could have probably some really good choices then.
Is it? Ernie's obsessed with that kind of stuff, and he's got some really great ideas. Is it Pirates Without Borders?
Pirates Without Borders, yeah. And everybody's been hearing, the letters of marque and reprisal that him and Davi Barker and a bunch of people have been working on, on the, if you listen to the LRN feed or Twitch feed, those come on in the commercials.
We play those on Free Talk Live's regular commercials, so they're not just there; they're on radio stations across the U.S. Mainly because Ernie is such a dynamic and brilliant individual. I think that I want people to be aware of what he's working on and what he's talking about, because he's an amazing guy.
I spent a couple days up there with Ernie up in Maine, and I've loved Ernie for years. I mean, he's such a ball of energy. He's so much fun. I had a great time working with him for a few days. He does a lot of good things.
I want to thank the amplifiers for amplifying Free Talk Live, especially C-Haw. I guess it's like yeehaw, like see-hee-hee-haw-haw-haw. For amplifying us at the silver rate. Thank you, C-Haw. If you want to support Free Talk Live and what we do, which is to bring the message of liberty to people 7 nights a week here on the airwaves, go to amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. The survey, which they're talking about here with the streaming services, found that the average consumer subscribes to 3 streaming services, that binge watching continues to be a popular activity, with 91% of U.S. millennials saying that they have watched 3 or more episodes of a show in a single sitting. And I guess I have done that. I don't do it often, but 3 services, by no means am I going to pay that kind of money. I'm not getting back on the cable train by having, I don't even know what they cost, but I think of it as like $8 or $9 for a streaming service is what I imagine as far as a number goes.
Per month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have Amazon Prime, that's included in your Prime account.
Right, but half the reason we have Amazon Prime at my house is because of the streaming service. And the other half is shipping. What about you guys? What do you have at your house there, Angie?
We have Amazon Prime, and my son, Mikey, has Netflix. We don't even have a TV at our house.
So what do? They just put it on the computer?
Yeah, we have laptops, computers, and everybody watches their own thing when they want to. Everybody has their own setup.
Huh.
So you guys don't have like family movie night?
No, well, if we do, we do it on my MacBook Pro in the living room on the rug, and everybody gets popcorn and sits together.
There you go.
We have a projector, and that works pretty cool because you can do it either from my phone or my wife's phone. And she has Prime and Hulu, but I think we're going to get rid of Hulu because the last couple of times we watched something on Hulu, there's commercials, and most of them are commercials for pharmaceutical and
first you pay and then you get a commercial
crap. So I'm like, let's just get rid of that. We don't need that. And then I use my brother's Netflix, which you can like 5 people can work off the same Netflix account, I guess.
I watched some movie not too long ago. It was 10,000 BC a few nights ago. Not the greatest, certainly not the most historical movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't terrible either. It had all the elements of a fine movie, and I got to see it through Amazon Prime. But it was one of the services on Prime where they offer this third-party service, and it had ads in it. It probably had 10 or 12 ads, which, mind you, if you were watching a 2-hour movie on broadcast television, you just saw a heck of a lot more than 10 or 12 ads in that time frame. But I was just kind of like, this isn't so bad. I could live with it. I didn't have a particular problem with it, but at the same time, every once in a while, you'd be like interrupted in your viewing. Many consumers experience frustration with streaming services content, with 47% saying they need multiple subscriptions to watch everything they want, and 57% saying shows that they enjoy have disappeared from streaming services. As a matter of fact, it's my understanding that Disney is intending to roll out a streaming service here in the relatively near future.
Yeah, Brian Sovereign was talking about that the other day, actually.
They are Sovereign Tech.
Yep, Sovereign Tech.
Yep, you can search that. I mean, when Disney goes off of any of these other streaming services, the reason we have intellectual property laws in America is because of Mickey Mouse. Disney is the biggest proponent of intellectual property. Once they pull their content from these services, then these services are going to look a lot less attractive when you can no longer get Mary Poppins and all the Disney movies. And then don't forget, they own all the Marvel content.
I was going to say,
now.
they've been buying up all kinds of IP like crazy, too.
They've
like
got
all
Star
the cool
Wars
stuff.
Yep. And they pretty much... there's a lot of content that Disney has, and once they open their own streaming service, they've got it all.
You know what drives me nuts? Not so much really in the libertarian community, but like some of my family, and like they're all talking about how they watch like all these episodes and all this stuff, and I'm like, how do you get anything done? But it's like, these are the people that that their kids are watching, some brown guy mow the lawn, so they're not watching mom and dad do it, and mom and dad don't mow the lawn. They're hiring someone to do it, and they're not, it takes more effort to have your kid mow the lawn than to go do it yourself half the time, so they're not even doing that. So this is like where this man camp comes in.
That's because of bad parenting up to that point.
Well, and it's just, but it's like, man, TV rots your mind. And it's just, some people watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, there was a time when I almost entirely played console video games rather than watching television. I didn't even understand it, but
at least that's interactive.
Yeah. At some point or another, it kind of switched over for me, and now I'm generally watching, some movie, or if I'm watching, I'm generally going to watch a movie or something. There's none of these shows have really tickled my fancy, at least since Rome, which was an HBO show from probably 10 plus years ago, and I really haven't had anything since then that's really got me terribly excited. I know a lot of people like Game of Thrones is a big one, and like The Living Dead.
I was a big Breaking Bad fan.
Yeah, Breaking Bad was a huge one. I remember Lost. A lot of people were into
that
one.
That one.
Yeah,
I did watch Lost when I was in Colorado, but one of my Hay customers a couple of weeks ago, she was like, "You better not show up here after 7 o'clock because I'm in the house and I'm watching my shows." And I'm like, what day? Every day, she tells me. And I'm like, oh, okay. And this is just, sometimes I drive down to Cape Cod with some hay and I don't get to her place maybe till 7. So I got to make her the first stop, and but
7 o'clock. At least she's got a time.
Yeah.
I do think you have to protect your personal time to some extent, in the sense that I have a little advisory on my email that says, hey, look, I work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yep, I've seen it.
If you've got an issue, it's going to be handled between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. It's not going to be handled after that, because in today's connected world, people sort of have an expectation that if they send you something at 5:15 that you're going to handle it. Well, no, I'm not. I've got to do 4 days a week on the air. That's 3 hours, plus the show prep time, which can be a couple hours on top of that. And then I've got to run the ads for the show and all those things. No, I don't have time to just go chasing after whatever the little minutia is, and somebody will always give it to you. So when I get off the air here at 10 p.m., yeah, I'm going to go home, I'm going to watch a movie, and I'm going to go to bed.
A guy I do some work for, he's got a rental business in Ware. He was just telling me, Ware, New Hampshire, that in Ware, yeah. And he shuts off, has it set up so all his work-related communications, except for his emergency phone number, shut off at 5 p.m. and turn back on, I think, at 8 a.m. Because phone's just buzzing constantly.
Right.
Otherwise.
I imagine that's true for lots of lines of work, but it certainly is for mine and probably is for yours, too. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450, free as in freedom. What's a fair number of hours to protect for yourself, for your time and your family? Free Talk Live.
Are you having trouble sleeping? Have you tried all kinds of sleep aids that don't work or have suffered from their side effects?
Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Siliberti, clinical neurologist and sleep expert. If I were to tell you I've developed an all-natural scientific breakthrough called Relaxium Sleep that will help you fall asleep fast and sleep deeply through the night, you'd probably be skeptical. So I'm going to prove it to you by giving you a risk-free trial.
For your free trial, call 800-644-9444. Relaxium Sleep is the only natural sleep aid developed by a clinical neurologist. Its triple action formula contains 2 unique ingredients, Valarest and Sensoril, proven to promote fast, deep sleep so you'll wake up refreshed. Be one of the first 100 callers and we'll include our free Delta Wave music CD to reach your deepest sleep. Call 800-644-9444 for the best sleep of your life. 800-644-9444 or visit tryrelaxium.com.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Gold opened the day at $1,307. Silver opened at $15.32. And Bitcoin is trading around $4,015. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, for the second time in a year, a jury has ruled that Monsanto's Roundup weed killer was a factor in causing a man's cancer. On Tuesday, a jury in San Francisco found that Monsanto's Roundup weed killer played a significant role in contributing to 70-year-old Edwin Hardeman's cancer. Hardeman used Roundup on his 56-acre Sonoma County property for decades before he was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2015. The Mind Unleashed reports a unanimous verdict concluded a trial that may determine the future of thousands of similar lawsuits filed against biotechnology giant Monsanto. CBS News reports that U.S. District Court Judge Vince Carbria controversially split Hardeman's trial into 2 phases, with the first phase exclusively focused on scientific facts. Judge Carbria chose to ignore evidence of apparent corporate misbehavior by Monsanto representatives because he said it was a distraction from the scientific question of whether Roundup causes cancer. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Bray Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Bray Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybraybotanicals.com. And listen up, Liberty Beat listeners. Right now, you can save 10% off your purchase by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow reporting. Your news now continues. A bus full of school children in Italy was set on fire by its driver in the outskirts of Milan on Wednesday. The Mind Unleashed reports it happens in protest of migrants who have drowned due to the country's hardline stance on blocking migrant vessels. Reuters reports that police were called to the scene and quickly managed to get everyone to safety before arresting the man. The driver, a 47-year-old Singalese-born Italian with a criminal record, reportedly shouted, quote, "Stop the deaths at sea. I'll carry out a massacre," end quote. That's according to police spokesman Marco Palmieri. All of the children were able to escape before the bus was completely engulfed in flames. One child told reporters the man had threatened to pour gas on them and set them ablaze. Last Thursday, Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt signed a bill into law that formalizes and expands the state's medical marijuana program, further nullifying federal cannabis prohibition in effect. Activist Post reports that last summer, Oklahoma voters approved a measure legalizing medical marijuana in the state. A coalition of 3 Republicans introduced House Bill 2612 on February 4th to create a regulatory structure and establish important patient protections for the state medicinal cannabis program. The Oklahoma House passed the bill on a 93-5 vote. The Senate approved the measure 43-5. With Governor Stitt's signature, the bill will take effect 90 days after the legislature adjourns. The new law creates the Oklahoma Medical Marijuana Authority and establishes a registry for qualified patients and their caregivers. It also creates a revolving fund to handle fees, taxes, and fines related to the medical marijuana program. The expanded patient protections written into the bill are significant. Under the law, a medical marijuana patient or caregiver licensee shall not be denied the right to own, purchase, or possess a firearm, ammunition, or firearm accessories based solely on his or her status as a medical marijuana patient or caregiver licensee. Support for Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It's the story that's stunning the tech world. Despite his age, 6-year-old data entry prodigy Jeffrey Peters is already entertaining offers from dozens of major temp agencies. Experts say Jeffrey's abilities to sit still and perform mind-numbing tasks in Excel and Word for hours on end rank with a freelance worker 3 times his age. But Jeffrey's mom says that she knew he was special from early on.
I've always thought that Jeffrey was different from the other kids. He started wearing glasses for computer strain when he was just 3.5, and he already has some pretty significant tendinitis.
I've always wanted to work at Maverick Recruiting.
The data entry whiz is at the center of a bidding war between industry titans like Workforce Solutions and Metropolitan Staffing, both offering lavish perks like starting salaries of up to $15,000 and a cramped cubicle shared with only 2 other temps. Jeffrey's parents say that given the generous offers he's already received, he could be well on the way to affording a dingy rundown apartment of his own.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's the third hour of Free Talk Live. And of course, you are welcome to call in and talk about what you want. We're reading a story here, started in the last hour, from the LA Times about how people are, like, cutting the cord is no longer a marginal activity. More people have streaming services now than paid sort of dish and cable services, satellite and cable. I was really surprised by the number that it happened so soon, but I guess it makes sense. It found that the survey found here that 43% of customers gave up, that they have got this frustration as to how difficult it can be to find shows on the streaming services. And 43% of customers gave up on the search for content if they can't find it within a few minutes. So this is more information for the streaming services to know
people
about.
are so impatient. I mean, for the past 2 decades, it's literally been just more instant gratification has become more gratifying and more instant. And so when people just get a little hiccup, they're just like,
That's it.
They don't know what to do with
Call
themselves.
an expert.
They just give up.
Yep. Pay money. Overall, consumers say they're getting much of what they want, but are frustrated by the complexity and effort to get it. And admittedly, television is easier, right? You turn it on and you switch the channel.
There it is.
And that's it. You're going to get what you're going to get. Whereas these
you're going to get a bunch of lies and propaganda. I mean, I tell people all the time, they're like, well, how do you tell if it's fake news? I go, easy. There's going to be commercials for pharmaceuticals, and there's going to be commercials for military. Join the National Guard, this sports ball team, and, some pill. That's the way I look at it. And that's all cable TV really is, with the occasional truck and car commercial.
Despite the rising popularity of streaming, the survey also showed that many households continue to value both streaming and pay TV. God, how much does this cost? With 43% of U.S. consumers having subscriptions to both. Now, I know that at one point, I think it was 2005, at the height of the economic boom there before it all fell apart, Americans were spending more than they made, which I found to be a frightening number. And this sounds like this is going to start happening again. Once you hear that statistic,
right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not changed.
$80,000 for a new pickup truck.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, and you're seeing and everywhere, like I look at Craigslist almost every day. Like first thing when I wake up, I look at Craigslist. I have been for, 20 years ago I was opening want ads. The day it came out, I spent that whole couple hours looking through that thing. But there is just I'm seeing things on Craigslist, like these dump trucks. Oh, I'm half interested in that thing. It's like $2,000, needs some work. Well, it's like $800 now, or it's, and then, I just watching all these things on Craigslist, and this is, I would see it in the want ads, 15 years ago, like just started being a lot of things. And the next week it was a couple hundred cheaper, same ad. There's just a lot of surplus stuff out there. There's a lot of people trying to sell things, and things aren't moving. And it's $80,000 to $90,000 for a new pickup truck. That is nuts.
It's true that's what they cost now. It's an amazing amount of money.
84 month. I was at a Ford dealership, get a part the other day, and I see a big thing. You can get your truck for $84 a month, or 84 months, and it was 0 down. Blah, blah, blah. F-150. It's got everything an F-150 could have, and 84 months. The truck ain't going to last 84 months.
Once you find, what was that?
It's not going to last here for 84 months.
No. Well, the F-150 now has an aluminum.
That is true.
So maybe it'll go a bit longer, but
just like all this other smart stuff, it's like as soon as everybody starts getting all smart appliances. And just like what they did with the cell phones, Brian Sovereign, I listen to his tech show, Sovereign Tech, and he's always screaming about how iPhone and this, so that when the iPhone gets a couple of years old and there's a new greatest one out, they just do an update, and what does that update do? It incrementally makes the phone
slows it down.
Yeah. Well, you can make your dishwasher stop when it's smart. Your everything, all this smart stuff is just you could put the planned obsolescence right in it. You don't have to design it so it holds a little bit of salt every year and rots out like your truck did.
Yeah, my F-350 just fell apart. I mean, it was being held together by the paint in some places.
Literally. And but same thing with all these newer cars. They're just the check engine light won't shut off. I got to keep on bringing it in. And then what was it? A hot tub my uncle got. The lady he got it from gave it to him, and she bought like a $500 or $600 chipboard from the guy. Come out and he charged, and he said, "Oh, he needs a chipboard." It was like $600 bill, and he put the chipboard in it, and still didn't work. Well, what we can do is we can credit you towards a brand new hot tub.
Oh my!
Like they're like, I don't even know. They're
$10,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say $7,000-$8,000, and she said, "Oh, I'll just buy a new one," and and they probably made $2,500 off delivering her and bringing her a new hot tub. I mean, they were happy to throw $600 at it and then credit it to her. And these car companies, they're doing the same thing. They're giving and that's another thing. They're giving you like $3,000 for your trade-in car, and then they're running them through the auction. And a lot of these things are just they're going to South America, and they're bringing half the money that the dealers give for them. They don't care. There's so much markup on them,
right?
And the dealers are making all the money off your 84-month financing.
Yeah, your interest.
The interest.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, getting people into debt slavery is the system. There's no doubt about it. I I believe that once we see that turn again, where you see the statistic where Americans are spending more money than they're making, and this is an aggregate, right? They've spent more money than they make. Not an individual, because there's lots of individuals you can find that do that, but like American citizens have spent more money than American citizens have made. Well, that's when the next economic collapse comes.
And when you keep on just injecting cheap money into the marketplace. And Max Kaiser does that Kaiser Report. I really like his show a lot. And he was talking about I might be misquoting him, but something like that the Federal Reserve reported for like last quarter of 18, something like $700 million in car loans that are 90 days delinquent.
Oh boy!
And there's 1.2 or 1 point something trillion dollars in the schooling loans, college loans that are in default. And
what are they going to do with a college loan, though? I mean, if you don't pay the car loan, they can come get the car. But if you don't pay your student loan, there's really nothing they can do. They don't really, they at some point or another, it's all going to collapse. But who's going to be harmed? I don't know if it's the people that have the degree.
Well, the real thing is where did the money come from?
Out of thin air,
right? So when you start doing this forensic accounting that some of these guys are really into, and you start asking the credit issuer, okay, I'll be willing to pay the debt. Who was the debt borrowed from? We need to know who the debt is borrowed from, and they can't tell you. They just can't tell you. And this is like some kind of like scheme of like getting out of paying credit cards and stuff. And I actually had a credit card that once they stopped taking the third-party checks I was sending them, I just whacked it out and never paid it. And they would call me up, and I'd be like, yeah, I'd be happy to pay whoever the debt's owed to. Who owns the debt? Oh, you owe it to Capital One. Oh, can you prove that? And I would just talk with these guys on the phone while I was driving a truck. I had nothing better to do and just have fun with them. And eventually, I don't know, nothing ever came about it. But the thing is all funny money made out of thin air, and you better get some crypto. You better get some peer-to-peer, because when it all collapses, it's going to spiral out of control quicker than any of us can believe.
How about you, Angie? Your household have student debt?
I have about $3,000 in student debt, and Michael has student loans that he hasn't paid in years.
Hasn't paid in years. Yeah, my wife, we just finished off the student debt for her. You know as well as I do, she hasn't had a job in 10 years.
Yep.
More than 10 years.
Well, she's a mom.
Yes,
that's a big job.
I understand, but she's not getting a W-2.
No.
And one wonders what, in many cases, what these student loans are good for. You get these degrees, and I'm not saying that they're all completely useless. There's certainly some things you have to have them for. The STEM fields, I think it's the best thing to have it for. But watch out when it comes to that debt. It's the thing that's really going to eat you up. You make a decision now, you think that you're going to want to stick with it, and life changes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you've been paying on that student loan and you owe more than the loan originally was for.
Yep.
That's like nuts.
That's what's killing our next generation. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com. With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore. DINOVITE.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Does this ever happen to you? Moments after you're introduced to someone, you forget his or her name. It's a common faux pas you'll want to avoid, especially if you're a job seeker. And even if you're not, here's a tip. As you are being introduced, and while you're still shaking hands, smiling, and making eye contact, say the person's name aloud. Not only does that make a deposit in your memory bank, it acknowledges the other person. And that is more than a nuance, as is maintaining eye contact. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. Cutting through the clutter rather than blending into the blah, blah, blah will help you connect better no matter what the conversation. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in freedom. In the previous segment, we were talking about how, the finances were changing here in the U.S. and that it looks like people were taking on more and more debt. And that's kind of a scary statistic. But there's some good statistics, too. And I've got them from fee.org. That's the Foundation for Economic Education, fee.org here. And we'll get into them here in just one second, but I want to go to the Christian Anarchist calling in on the Discord line. By the way, if you want to sound as good as Christian Anarchist does, you just go to discord.freetalklive.com and download the app there, and it'll sound great.
The guys in the Discord said you'd never get to me.
Well, I just saw you just now. I'm not. I'm certainly not as good as Ian at seeing all these different places that people might call in.
Actually, this is about the shortest time I've ever waited. You just came right on after
Excellent.
I got on. So that's great. I wanted to talk about what you were talking about earlier about the electronics and everything breaks down. You pretty much can't expect anything to last 5 years anymore because of the electronics. Something's going to break and either the part's not going to be available or it's going to be so expensive that you can't afford to buy it. You can go buy a new appliance.
And a lot of times the part, it costs what the appliance costs.
Yeah, I've been fixing some appliances because I get free appliances and I just fix them.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing I've been doing is these diesel trucks, these older diesel trucks the 98 to 2002 Dodges have a chipboard that goes bad in the injector pump. So I've actually gotten pretty good at fixing that one particular transistor that burns out in the injector pump. But now what's happening, I was actually talking to some guys that get into computers and stuff, is, they're literally, the new chips are so small that, like, it is just, chipboards are so small, it's, like, impossible for the human hand to actually, like, fix them. You have to have the, very precision robotics. It's like doing, some kind of surgery, like, on a lot of these chips now. There's, there's very little fixing them in your backyard or in your garage.
This is the main reason that these really expensive Mercedes-Benz, I've owned several used Mercedes, and they're all a nightmare to repair, but the new ones are even worse, because if you look in the eBay or anywhere for older Mercedes luxury cars, the ones that have all the bells and whistles, their depreciation is horrendous. They're worth about 10% of what they were new if they're 10 years old, because
even less I've seen.
Yeah, it costs so much to fix the darn things that if you have one, it's like having a curse. Here, I'll give you my old Mercedes, and because I hate your guts,
right?
That kind of thing. And
let me ask you this, guys. Between you, Christian Anarchist, and Jay, I feel like I can get an answer to this. If I wanted to get a vehicle that was never going to have some kind of computer problem, I'm just talking about a basic vehicle, right? Rack and pinion steering, combustion engine, that kind of vehicle.
I would recommend diesel.
Okay, I'm with you.
Believe it or not, I have a car here that I'm fixing up that I've had for many, many years. It's a 1984 Oldsmobile diesel station wagon. I think I have the only one in the country. And there's no electronics on it at all. It's got a manual injection pump. It's got an electric, you've got your starter, and once it starts, it just runs, it's a diesel.
You have an electric solenoid that shuts off that pump, but that's not a big deal to actually on that Standardine pump to convert into a Standardine's the manufacturer of that pump to convert into a full manual shutoff.
I also have a 94 Chevrolet pickup truck diesel that was the first year of the electronic injection pump, and I had so much trouble with it that I paid something like $1,700 to convert it back to the manual pump. So now I've got a manual pump 1994 diesel truck. But I always recommend for people, if they want to have a good, reliable used car, to buy a light-duty pickup truck, a full-size light-duty pickup truck, because the gas is going to cost you more, of course, but all of your repair bills are going to be cheap. There's going to be parts available everywhere, and the parts are going to be cheap. So even the electronics.
Is that like a Chevy 1500 or a Ford F-150?
Yeah, Chevy, Dodge, Ford, doesn't matter. You get one of those, the 1500 class of pickup trucks. They've got the smaller tires, which cost less. If you get the 3/4 ton or something, you've got the really expensive tires. And
I know that's true.
Yep.
Well,
and, everything else is more expensive on them. But it's just a good, cheap economy car to get around in if you just want something that's not going to break and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to fix.
I've heard you actually say that on a show one time, Christian Anarchist, while I was driving. And I wanted to tell you this for actually a little while now. My recommendation is a 1994 to 1994 to 1998 Dodge Ram 2500 or 3500 with a Cummins 5.9 diesel and manual transmission is the absolute most reliable factory-produced truck ever built, because it has a mechanical injection pump that looks like a little mini 6-cylinder pump. It's called a P7100 Bosch pump. It is almost literally bulletproof. You don't have. I know guys, they've driven these trucks 500,000-600,000 miles. I got one right outside. It's got 380,000 miles on it, and mine's a little newer. It's got the 24 valve with an electric over manual pump. But and the thing is if you get a manual transmission Dodge pickup truck, no problem, 20 miles to the gallon if you drive it carefully. No problem. You want to start doing modifications.
And now, what is the name of this vehicle again that you're talking about? Because so many things have passed by through my brain. I have no idea what you've just said. 1994 to 98 Dodge Cummins pickup truck. Okay. Diesel.
Diesel, yes. Has to have the diesel. It's an inline 6 diesel. It makes, quadruple the torque and twice the horsepower of any comparable factory, gas job, and it will get, 2 to 3 times the fuel mileage of the gas job because there's more energy in diesel fuel, and it makes it lower RPM. and especially if you start like advancing the timing, putting aftermarket turbos on them, and really high gear ratios, and get use the torque to go down the road. I have helped guys build trucks that are getting two-wheel drive trucks now that are getting like 28 to 30 miles to the gallon, but they're driving them like 58 miles an hour too.
And that was one of the things that I hated about the diesel cars, because we had diesel engines for 100 years that were reliable. They would last 300,000 miles, at least 300 to 500,000 miles, and nothing ever broke on them, and you didn't have to tune them up until they started messing with them and adding the electronics. Now, all of a sudden, some of these diesel engines are a total nightmare. But yeah, that older Cummins that doesn't have the electronics, that's definitely a good way to go.
I think a lot of people like these for bug out vehicles. They want something that if, I don't know, the EMP hits or whatever the situation is, they want a vehicle that they can count on through thick and thin that'll get them through just about any situation. And does that sound like that sort of vehicle?
The second gen Dodge Cummins 12 valve is what it's called. Yes, is that vehicle. In fact, I've built a couple of these bug out trucks, two of them particularly, and I have one sitting in my yard right now.
So people would just find that by looking on Craigslist or something?
Yeah, second gen Dodge 12 valve, absolutely.
Free Talk Live.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens. We support the amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Jeunesse products are designed by leading doctors in their field with natural ingredients and even stem cell technology. These products help your body perform and look better. Shop Jeunesse at GCNlife.com or call 1-844-443-6637. GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Free Talk Live.
Crack cocaine, the way it hurts individuals and communities, I would really like to see dealers get the death penalty.
Why are you so violent?
It's a violent drug. It gets to your brain. It reorganizes. It actually physically changes the structure of your brain.
That's true with alcohol. The community is being put in danger by the fact that these drugs are illegal. I don't use crystal meth, but I'm in danger from those who do use crystal meth, in that if they need another hit and they can't afford it, and their drug dealer's not willing to accept a BJ in order to give them a hit of crystal meth, then they are going to go and steal things, break into cars, break into homes. If you can't see how prohibition creates more problems than it solves, if you can't see how prohibition leads to more violence,
just look at Al Capone and the history of alcohol. Yes. It's simple.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
If you love what we do here on Free Talk Live, which is to bring live radio to you, that you can call in and talk about whatever you want and bring the message of liberty to people 7 days a week here on Free Talk Live. I want you to check out the Amplifier program. You could become an amplifier like Brian Painter did. He's a platinum amplifier. But we ask just $5 a month for our AMP program. Lots of perks. I think you'll really appreciate it. Just go to amp.freetalklive.com. If you like what we do, it's a perfect place for you. amp.freetalklive.com. So we had some sort of bad economic news there previously when we were talking about Americans' debt-to-income ratio going up. But I think we should get some good news from FEE.org, the Foundation for Economic Education. The world's poorest people are getting richer faster than anyone else. In 1820, this is a ways off, right? 1820 has been a long time ago. 94% of the world's population lived in extreme poverty. That means you don't know where your next meal's coming from. Your house is basically a shack, right? And this was true in the United States. The number wasn't quite as high as 94%, but it wasn't much better.
Yep.
At 1820, I mean, there's no plumbing. There's no basically entertainment might be somebody coming over with a musical instrument and Pa and him playing on the porch and drinking some whiskey. That'd be it.
And the drinking water is right next to the pooping hole.
Yeah, it's true.
In most of those houses.
In 1990, 34.8% of the world lived in extreme poverty, and in 2015, just 9.6%. So we went from 94% to 35% to basically 10% of the world in extreme poverty in a historically relatively short period of time, 200 years.
And what brought us that?
Well, the Industrial Revolution.
I believe free markets.
Well, free markets, yes. They didn't really understand free markets in the same way in sort of like medieval Europe or something like that. It was always, one of the ruling class, the baron, the duke, somebody was getting their cut, and they decided who could sell and who couldn't, who could travel and who couldn't. Those aren't free markets. On last Tuesday marked the 25th anniversary of the United Nations International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. The date intentionally coincides with the 30th anniversary of the call to action, which saw the French anti-poverty campaigner Father Joseph, I should have practiced this ahead of time, Rezinski, ask the international community in front of 100,000 Parisians to strive to eradicate extreme poverty. To mark the occasion, Antonio Gutierrez of the United Nations Secretary General was featured in a short video assessing the current state of world poverty. Despite noting such issues as unemployment, inequality, and conflict continuing in some regions, Guterres correctly observed that since 1990, the world has made remarkable progress in eradicating poverty. While it is valuable to acknowledge that problems remain, it is important to reflect on just how far we've come. And if you listen to those that would create derision, they would say that everything's getting worse economically. Those that are making the most money have, X number of dollars more than, everybody else and these sorts of things.
Well, the elite at the top are certainly skimming more and more and more and more and more and more, and then, fake money. But, with technology, I mean, you can't grow a bushel of corn any cheaper today any cheaper any other time in history than you can today. Even organically. even organically.
And if you think about, say, a chicken and what it costs to get a whole chicken, a whole chicken can feed a family. You know, if you make it, you know, you're probably talking some kind of stew or something like that. But you could make a chicken feed a family, and I'm talking a family like yours, where the kids outnumber the adults.
Well, you know, 50, 60 years ago, your average like broiler chicken was like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 pounds or something. And today that average chicken is
5.5.
It's like 7.6 actually, because my buddy Silver Dave is really into doing this natural earth fitness thing, and this is the thing he's talking about, that the chickens basically are bred to be big and fat, and they're given like hormones, and they're fed a lot of genetically modified food. And they're fed, you know, government subsidized food, you know, which is all the cheap stuff at the big poultry farms. So when you can, you know, consume that, you know, factory farm raised chicken or pork or you know, I mean, look at some of these breeds of beef cows. I mean, they look like scary. You know, and some of them get like over 18 months
Muscle
old.
bound, yeah.
They're just like massive, and you see them in these animal rescues, like some of these Angus and Hereford cross cows. They're just like they're like 8 years old, and they're just look so huge because they're designed to they're basically engineered to slaughter them before they're 18 months. You know, the meat packers don't want them after 18 months because the spine's too big to deal with, and they're just you just go to these cattle auctions, and the big ones start bringing like, you know, 60 cents a pound, and the ones that are, you know, prime are bringing $1.50 a pound. You know, that's a big loss. And
I would think you could use those as stew meat or something.
You sure can, but like they're not going to buy them unless they're really cheap. And like with the cattle industry, you know, the big market here. There's 2 places. One's owned by Cargill, and the other one's owned by another Monsanto company, actually, in Pennsylvania.
Is that in the U.S. or?
Yeah, they're in Pennsylvania. These things run 24 hours a day. I think the Moyer is not called Moyer anymore.
They're running an auction.
No. This
is 2 o'clock in the morning.
No. All the time. No, this is a slaughterhouse.
Okay.
So like Moyer is not called Moyer anymore. It's a family owned it, but now they're slaughtering like 7,500 head a day there. And then the Cargill one, which is in Pennsylvania, also is somewhere around that. It's just these factories, but they won't buy like the guys that buy those cows for them. There's another slaughterhouse in Granville, New York, called Champlain Beef, and they'll buy like a lot of these really big cows. That like because they want, if the cow don't fit in a chute, it don't fit their deal. They don't even want it there because it just screws up production.
Yeah,
and like 18 months for an Angus cow, for example, is like what they want, because it's basically that's the efficiency rate on the factory farming. And same thing with the chickens. You know, these chickens, you know, cage free, but yeah, there's, you know, they got a million of them, you know, inside a half acre. You know, some big you know, airplane hangar building.
They might as well be in a cage because they can't move around much. But they're bred in such a way they can't move around anyway. But I've seen these even the free range organic chickens that are you know, chickens for eating, not for laying. These things aren't getting up and walking around. They're not picking up for bugs or anything. They're stuck.
Oh, right. So when you buy the Colonel Sanders white, I can't remember what the actual breed is, but they call it like a something broiler. I'll think about it afterwards. And Cornish hen, as I believe what it's called, a Cornish broiler or something. They're a white chicken with
I thought Cornish was a little one, but all right.
Maybe they're.
I thought Cornish was a little one.
You might be right. I can't remember. But anyways,
it looks like a foghorn leghorn.
Yeah, foghorn leghorn chicken. It's not the Cornish. You're right. Yeah. But anyways, they after about 10 weeks old, they can't walk. You really need to slaughter them at like 8 weeks, or it just starts getting ugly for them, and they get so huge. And you know, in 8 weeks, these things are like, you know, dress weight. They're like 6.3 pounds.
I don't think people understand that they're eating pullets, not chickens. You know, they're eating really young birds generally. I mean, you know, I eat chicken. It doesn't stop me from eating chicken.
Well, and people want them young because that young chicken is tender.
It sure is. Right. If you get that, if you've ever had a fried chicken, if you try to fried chicken, say at home versus you go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, there's a difference in the consistency of the meat and these kinds of things. And a lot of people they're not used to it and they don't like it anymore.
Yeah, like the egg laying operations, when they're done with those hens, they'll go to like Kentucky Fried Chicken, and then and it was one of the big buyers of them. And I dealt with some of these guys in Colorado. My stepfather supplied these guys with some feed and stuff. And then I go, what happens to these chickens? They go, well, the good ones go to Kentucky Fried Chickens. The not quite so good ones go into Campbell's Soup.
Right.
That's basically what he said.
Yeah, that's true. If it gets a little older, they don't want it for a piece of fried chicken. Nobody's going to want that. It has to be a premium if you're going to take it off the bone like that. But if you just got Chico bits that are going into pressed part or chicken noodle or whatever, nobody cares what that.
But
it's chicken flavored.
When you fry it, that it's more tenderized than if you actually grill it. It's going to be a softer, juicier chicken.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your Longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Join me, George Norrie, in Indian Wells, California, May 31st to June 3rd for the Contact in the Desert UFO Conference, an epic weekend of exploration into ancient aliens, human origins, crop circles, and UFO sightings. More than 100 lectures, panels, workshops, and events with leading experts like Giorgio Tsoukalos, David Wilcock, Linda Moulton Howe, Eric Von Daniken, Doc Wallach, and so many more. Get your tickets today at contactinthedesert.com. It's time to make contact. Contactinthedesert.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
the final segment of Free Talk Live, and, well, I don't know. You probably can't get through, but I'll give the number just in case. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's Mark with you.
Angie here.
And Jay.
And let's go right to the phones and not piddle around here. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, Mark and folks, did you, in your Free State Project, first let me preface that with, in New Mexico, I had told you before about how the governor, the Democrat power structure is implementing, they passed all these gun laws, red flag laws, and background check, stuff like that, and that of the 33 counties in the state of New Mexico, 29 of the sheriffs said they won't enforce them, and 25 of the county commissions voted to back up their sheriffs and say that no county money will be spent to enforce what they consider to be illegal laws, and that effectively, that type of action, when the sheriff backed up by the county commission, which is which is backed up then by the people in these rural counties mostly, say that we're not doing that, we're not following that. They're essentially telling the people that want to oppress them to go to hell, and it's working. It's working. And so going to your Free State Project, when you were doing that in the past, present, and whatever becomes in the future, did you ever consider? Well, first of all, you have one Free State Project. One concept I'd like to introduce is, rather than having one place where everybody should move to, my idea is that like the Amish, like the Mennonites, et cetera, the Mormons establish many different colonies. And then if you add in the fact that many counties all over America, especially in the West, have very low population. For instance, in New Mexico, there's the lowest population county has 740 people in the whole county.
Really? That's surprising.
So in a situation like that, if you moved in, just a couple hundred people, you could then essentially take over the county as far as putting in your own electeds and be almost immune from the oppression of state and fed.
I don't know. So the concept behind the Free State Project, and I'm not entirely sure that it's all going to work out or anything. The concept is to move as many liberty-loving individuals to a small state as possible. To pick the state of New Hampshire, and they've had some successes along the way, and certainly some failures too. But a state is sort of legally a unique entity in that a county gets its charter from the state. So if a county if for whatever the reason the state decides the county's too much trouble, they can just merge it into the next county over there, and then suddenly all those bureaucratic jobs are gone. Whereas with a state, the federal government really can't do that. All it can do is cut off funding, which is a real problem. But ultimately, the sovereignty lies with the state, not with the feds. The feds have the money-making capability. So that was the reason that they chose a state rather than a county or a city or things like that. There are plenty of places. I mean, every once in a while you'll see town goes up for sale in, usually out west, and you could buy the whole town, right? And then you could have a bunch of libertarians get together in a town and argue about crap there, which is basically what they're going to do anywhere that they go. And there are some counties that are low populated, like you're talking about. None in New Hampshire is low populated as the one you were speaking of in New Mexico. But I don't know that I think that it would be terribly successful if you picked something besides a state. And I'm not sure that the Free State Project itself is going to be successful either, because unless they can, the problem is that you got to get these individualists to work together, and that's kind of antithetical to what they want to do. Go ahead.
But you don't really, with what I'm suggesting, you don't really need to do all that much together. I mean, if you had, like I said, in such a low populated county, if you had just a couple hundred people that moved there, you could essentially be left alone. Because if you're in the county, the law enforcement is the sheriff combined to some degree with the state police, and you don't really have any need for the law enforcement anyway, because nothing really goes on in those small counties.
I think you could fly under the radar for a while, but if the state decided you guys were a problem, they just take away the county's charter, and then they combine you with another county.
But you wouldn't be making any problem. You wouldn't be giving them any problem, because you'd be following the rules that are set up anyway. What I'm saying is, the way that it is now, they're already pretty much left alone. And then if you had a couple hundred people that lived together in one county like that, and you could elect a sheriff and a county commission, and counties like I'm talking about have very few municipalities, and they don't really matter anyway, because they're like 1 square mile. And most people would be living outside of them anyway, so they don't really matter. And like I said, in counties like this in New Mexico, they're already pretty much left alone and completely on their own. They don't have any. In counties like that, they'll have like one law enforcement person, and if they need more, they literally do like in the Old West, and they deputize and get a posse together. They hardly ever need to do that, but that's what they do. And firefighting, same thing. There is no fire department other than the volunteer, like you're on. Yeah, this is already being done. It's just not done by well, actually, it is done by some libertarians. Oh, in fact, Catherine County, I know for a fact that they had passed at their county level. They had passed a resolution, memorial, whatever it is, to say that the county wants every citizen to be armed in their county, so that they can do more to protect themselves.
I want to talk about this more, David, but I've got calls coming in, and I've got to take care of them. I appreciate it. The number is 8. I'm giving the number here. Let's just go to Vernon, calling in from New Orleans. Vernon, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yesterday, you all had a conversation about New Zealand making it illegal to upload that video of the New Zealand shooting to the internet.
And today, too, yeah.
Yes. So in addition to that, though, there was the comment, not by one of the main co-hosts, I forget the name, but the comment was that we here in America don't restrict any sort of video uploads, and we have complete and total freedom, but that's not true, especially when it comes to child pornography. So that was one of my points. And then my question was, are you all advocates of being allowed to upload child pornography, which I know Ian defines it before puberty. So if we want to get really technical about it,
that still exists, right? Like people have, terrible videos of prepubescent kids being forced into awful situations. No, I am absolutely not an advocate of that.
No, I'm not either.
But I will say that it is interesting that we, on one hand, we believe that somebody should have the right to upload a video of the shooting at the mosques there, and we believe that's the press, and we believe that's freedom of speech. But there, in some places, they don't even have laws against uploading snuff films. I don't know if you're aware of what one of these is, but it's a disgusting video of somebody being killed, and there's some of these make it around on the internet. I don't know why people want to watch this crap, but they do. I remember when I was in high school, there was this movie series called The Faces of Death.
Oh, I remember that.
And pretty much everybody's seen these things, and they're just this side of a snuff film in that they are videos of people dying in many cases, but they weren't taken in the sense that it was like to celebrate it or anything. It wasn't.
What about your personal opinion about child pornography, however you want to define it, being illegal in the United States? Because like I said yesterday, it's kind of like the co-hosts are all about every single video. Everything should be legal. There should not be anything illegal and all that stuff.
I don't think society can handle the notion of legalized child pornography, even though there is some there's some interesting sort of theoretical aspects to it. But if you were to make it legal in the sense that it's just, you can put it up, you can use it as advertising, you could do whatever. If I can just have a storefront where I'm playing this on a 60-inch TV, no, I can't. I don't think society can handle that. I think it would quite literally crumble.
And also, it just gets too radical because You know, in states like Arizona, you got two 17-year-olds sending each other nudie pics in high school, and they're both basically arrested on felonies.
Right, and that's the other side of it. Is the one side or the other. The problem is we don't have a legal apparatus that can handle the nuance that needs to be in place because it's really difficult. Vernon, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about them.
And the other problem is anytime you prohibit anything, I don't care what it is, you just create this black market.
Yeah.
And then violence is going to come out of it. Whether you're prohibiting alcohol, you're prohibiting a species of salad, whatever it may be, you're going to create violence.
Free Talk Live.
He seems happier.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The latest episode of The Torchwood Report is next, after the news, on the Liberty Radio Network.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, March 20th, 2019.